Um, yeah, my computer takes a while to get loaded. Okay, so it loads up Windows fast. Windows comes in, you go in, log in, you're good, almost instantly. But I have two monitors in addition to my tablet, which is actually what I'm using. I'm using a Surface Pro 8 tablet, and it's it's a high end. I mean, it's like the top of the line. Whenever I buy a computer, I always buy the top of the line. Top of the line, I mean, if it's a Surface Pro, I'll get the highest Surface Pro with all of the bells and whistles. Um, I won't say top of the line like I go out and buy like the ultimate desktop with everything, but I have added on. I did buy an EVGA 30 or 4780 card, and then I have an external GPU case, so that GPU is sitting there. So I have a pretty good graphics card running everything. However, when I restart my computer, by the time sometimes it takes a long time for my monitors and my devices. I have a boat ton of devices. I have two USB strips here running monitors and mics and cameras and speakers and switches. Just all kinds of different things are on there. I can't. I had to actually go through and label all the cords on all of my USBs because I don't know what they all are unless I have them labeled. So they all have little tags on them that tell me, like, one of them is for a USB that I use to connect my video camera, which is way in the other side of the room, and I have a cable that runs all the way to the back of the room. It's one of the powered ones, and it runs all the way back there. And then I have, well, obviously the multiple video devices, camera or monitors, but those are using USB. I think they use USB-C to connect to my dock. My dock has. Oh no, I guess they're HDMI. I guess it's using HDMI from the dock to the VGA. The VGA goes to EVGA, which goes over to my. Interestingly enough, EVGA went out of business. I just found out, and my 4780 is EVGA. I know because it's LED lit and it's flashing. And then I've got my mic. I've got multiple hubs or USB hubs. Of course, network cables. I mean, I just got so many. I've got easily 15 things on here. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Oh yeah, and I've got two external hard drives running on USB-C. I got a mic and headphones, and I got a Xbox controller all plugged into this thing. And so yeah, whenever I need them, they're available to me. Not everything's being used or being on all the time, but it does. Things are getting used pretty consistently. Okay, let's see what I can do here. That said, I am now up and running. So let's see how this goes. I did start my. Oh, I thought I started it. Oh, I guess I have to leave this open. I guess when I close this, it goes away. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. All right. So we got all this running again. Everything's working. AMG Auth. I checked it in. So now if I make any changes that break it, I'll have my Git repo to check my history. I needed to check that in. So I did that. Now we have my ladder, which is what I'm working on. Here was what I'm trying to figure out how to. Okay, I've connected. I can make it connect, and but what's blowing up, I can't be sure because it's not telling me. There's not. It just says failed to log in. So what is failing? I can't be certain because it doesn't make any sense. It just says failed to log in, failed to authenticate. So either it's losing my it's like the path ain't right, which is localhost 7195 swagger. So if I go over to my API login somewhere here, nope, wrong one. See, I was trying to get this. I'm not quite fully there, getting my my tokens to work. This is where I probably broke it. Probably doing stuff to try to call and get it to redirect and go everywhere it's supposed to and do all of the stuff. So that's probably where it's breaking, because I had it all working, and then I started messing trying to get, you know, authentication and verification working, and that's where I'm kind of stumbling at the moment. Let's see, I gotta fix my camera. Hold on. I got a window right here, and the blinds are broken, so I apologize. It's turning me into a ghost, so I gotta kill the exposure a little bit. That's a little better, but probably not perfect. When it gets, and it's cloudy out, but it's bright clouds, you know, sunny as sun clouds being pummeled on me. So yeah, we got 70-degree clouds out there. So okay. Now, I have somewhere in here my auth, and where is the call? Navbar.jsx is broken. Yay. And this is me trying to get all the parts in place. Sidebar data. So yeah, that's probably where things are probably breaking, because I have something weird here. And having it tell me is also a little trickier. It doesn't always tell me exactly what the problem is. So let's see here. Because it just says here, if I click problem in this file, that's all it says. Hey, there's a problem in this file. Okay, thanks. So let's see, I have auth, count. What did I change last time? Thought it worked, and now it doesn't. There's one problem in this file. What's it complaining about, though? Let's see. No. What's it saying is the problem? File name, blah, 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 differs from already included file name, get report next year. Only encasing. Alright. Oh, where's sidebar at? Sidebar. Data.map. Alright, let's go. What if I kill this? Only encasing, huh? Sidebar, sidebar, sidebar. Here it is, sidebar.js. It is capital S, huh? Why is it capital S here? Huh. Is that the problem? Weird. I don't even know how I changed that, or why I changed that, what I did to make that. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Why it changed. One of the things I don't usually like to do is have a I don't like to have my JSX files be in the same locations as my non-JSX files. I don't know. I like to keep them separate. But I don't know what to call this. What is this? Resource? Sidebar data? Title? Home? This is the whole sidebar info. And it's just a big constant. It's a resource, right? So maybe I should be referencing that differently. Maybe I should call it a resource instead of a component, because this really is just a constant. I mean, it's a component, but it's not doing anything, right? So there's no UI, not even any real code there. It's just a resource for whatever this is going to be, a layout. And you know what? I'm going to call it, I'm going to create a new folder for it. Just because I want one. Resources. Yeah, that's just the way it's going to be. And then I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to move him to my resources folder. And that should have updated to my navbar JSX. There we go. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Just because, like I said, I prefer my my non-navigation stuff. In fact, if I really had a choice here, I'd probably do something like, because auth is a valid location, API auth is not. This is not going to actually go anywhere. And I would like my app being everything to navigate to, and everything outside of my app being the pieces that aren't being navigated. So, you know, kind of just keeping it clean. So I wonder if I I should do that. I'm gonna take it out. I don't know what the normal here is, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go to new folder. I'm gonna call it. Actually, can I do this? Let's see. All right. I'm gonna change this name because I'm stubborn. These are just kind of the things that for me I need to clean up. And then I'm going to go up here. I go not to the app, but I'm going to go up here and go new folder. Resources. Now I am actually going to go ahead and take my I wonder if I can change, because components are part of the app, but you don't browse them. So I'm thinking I'm going to leave that, but I am going to take this guy and move it here. And I'm also going to take this guy and move it here. And then I'm going to take this guy and delete it. There you go. So now I have app things I would that have code in them, or UI components in them, as what's going on in the app. Okay, so oops. Nope, this sidebar is not supposed to be in. I want it in there. There. Hi. Love you too. Alright, so we have alright, so I got my auth folder here, and then my other resources, things that are just non-JSX. This is just JavaScript files. They don't have any UI component. That's the goal there. So, all right, well, we've got that fixed. We're updated. All right, so now we're going to try and see what's going on with my code. So we have our auth page, and where is the call? Oh, I must have it in my ext here, because I didn't want area m local, not m ext, but m. Okay, so it is local 7195, so we're good there. That's what it's using, and that should be in one of these. Process.m.mg authorized domain. Okay, so that's what we want, and then we're sticking it in here. I am not 100% sure that everything's working, obviously, because when I go to login, something doesn't work. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go, let's see, console.log, and then we're just going to put AMG authorized domain. I just wanted to show me what we're looking at, and then we're going to run this. We're going to go here and see why this doesn't work. Oops. I really should be. Let's see. How long is it going to take to stay started? Okay, let's do this quick. I got to run and get a drink. I went and swam 1,700 meters today. Woo! Been working on my swim stroke. Because I've been doing something wrong. I get so tired swimming, and I can run half marathon, but I'm just always winded. But this new swim stroke style, this new swim process I'm implementing after watching some YouTubers tell me how to do it right, seems to be helping. I'm finding I don't have to stop as much or as long. I still have the mental issue I got to get past. Where I stop just because I want to stop. But I'm like, I'm not that tired. So sometimes I could just take a breath and keep going. But it doesn't, it's not a requirement, you know? It's like sometimes I can actually just do it. I'm trying to do, okay, come out, take a deep breath, and jump back in and keep going. Come out, take a breath, turn around. It's not a stop, rest, go. That's what I've tried to get around, is the whole stop, rest part. So okay, so something blew up. Failed to load resource. The server responded with the status of 404 not found. Okay, that's not a good thing. So if it couldn't find the login page, that means something's up, and I think that could have something to do with this. That's why I'm saying I want to. Did it show it? Rebuilding done in 207. Rebuilding done in 207. All right, let's clear this. I'm gonna hit submit again. So let's see. This is where my submit is, right? Login user. Well, no, I guess it's right here, but that should still trigger over here. Yeah, see, I think it's trying to print this console.log issue, and it's failing. It doesn't actually, there is no AMG authorized domain. It's not feeding it correctly. You know, I had this problem before where it wasn't reading my it wasn't reading the env local correctly. But the interesting part is, see, I have an env local here. See, I have this one, and it's doing the same thing. So let's see, is that actually working? Next, public Supabase. I know they disabled my Supabase because I don't use it. So if I ever want to do it, I have to go back and re-enable it. Let's see. Do I have this even being used right now? I wonder if I got this functional. Client.js process.m. Yeah, they're all using it. 3 of them are using it. No, that one's not actually doing anything with it. create client. That's passing them as parameters, which is process.env.amg authorized domain. Huh. It is. Whoa, that is totally not. That is totally not what that is. What? 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 Dot AMG. How come it says AMG authorized domain there? Okay, that is totally not what that is. Because what it is dot AMG. So it's obviously not reading it. Oh, interesting. Alright, I think that's my problem. Let's go back to my env local and just copy paste it. I basically asked it to get itself. That's not right. It's like AMG authorized domain. It's like, oh, you want that? It's like, no, I don't want that. I want this. Let's try that thing. Alright, let's go back here. And we'll close that for the moment. And then we're going to go clear console. And try this again. Gamer arrow family.com. Then we're going to go over here. And we're going to go copy. And paste. Alright, so what happened? Still didn't work. And my console.log is not working either. Login 44. Not. Use AMG authorized.js. Found. Index. Login failed at login. Use AMG. Yeah. It's definitely got an issue with my AMG authorized.js, and I still think it's the problem of this. So the question is, how's my console.log? All right, let's try something else. I'm gonna do this just because I feel like. Let's see here. Domain URL used is squiggly. Oops. That didn't work. What if I go $? Alright. And then we're going to go clear console again. And then submit again. Domain URL used, undefined. Okay, so we definitely have a flaw here. It's definitely not reading this correctly. AMG authorized. So however I'm reading my AMG local, it is not getting it. What am I doing wrong? I'm trying to turn this into a variable, and that's where I broke everything. So yeah, what am I doing here? I do have this guy who is doing similar stuff. Process.env. Now is there a reference up here? No. Process.env. Why? Is it reading the wrong one? Because I have it set as local. I don't even have another one, so why would that be? This one, see, I'm not referencing anything else, so these are the calls to it. I'm not looking at any of this other stuff. So it's exactly process.env. and geauthorized domain URL. And if I go back here, look at it, there's no quotes, it just says equals, there's no squiggly things, squiggly brackets, and that's exactly what I got here. HTTPS, I mean, I'm actually doing the same kind of thing here, superbase.co, URL, equals, I mean, I know that's probably not a thing, but if spaces matter, I don't know. But I am kind of stumped at the moment. Why is it not calling my mlocal? And mlocal here, yeah, there's no reason for this to be off. There's not a comma after that, so it's not even that issue. All right, well, let's go see if the space mattered. That's just weird if it does. Okay. Yeah, it is not getting my variable. Okay, so, all right. Should I ask ChatGPT? I don't know. ChatGPT's been proving me wrong on its, for the most part. It's, seems to know the answers to a lot of stuff. Getting undefined error when referencing .m.local variable in my React, or how about Next.js application. Variables Next.js applications, seeing undefined error typically indicates a problem with how the variables are being accessed or configured. Here are some steps. Ensure that your mlocal file is correctly named and located at the root of your Next.js project. It is, right? So I compress everything. Yes, it's at the root. Okay. All right. Ensure that the variables in your .mlocal file are correctly defined. Format should be blah. Only variables prefixed with next public will be exposed to the browser. Server-side variables do not need this prefix. So is that my problem, that I'm not using next public? Is this browser side? It must be. It must be. Let's go ahead and change this to let's go ahead and add prefix next public and see if that matters. I mean, I knew that was, I knew of next public. I just didn't remember what it was for, so I didn't put it in. Like, that can't be important. All right, so auth page. Nope. How about resources? Auth. All right, so we're gonna put this right here. And then we're going to go back over here and see if ChatGPT solved my problem. Go over here, copy, and paste. Blah, blah, blah. Still not working. Well, that was lame. Let's go ahead and stop and start just to see if some of the stuff I'm doing is triggering, you know, needs to be restarted. There are things that the hot swap doesn't quite function on. And so our goal here is to get them to function. Swimming has my ears, like inner ear or something is plugged. It's not quite like it's plugged completely, but it's just enough where my head is like echoing slightly, and it's just a little irritating. Okay. All right, did we get it? All right, so let's get back here. Go here. Another spell. It won't matter. I mean, if it does say resource not found, the problem is totally unrelated, right? I mean, let's go to my inspect here, and then we'll go to the console, and then we're gonna dump this, and then we're gonna say submit. Still same thing. Oh, domain URL is local. Oh, that worked. Oh, it's fine. Now it's aborted. What is a problem? Login user. Handle login. What does it mean aborted? What nonsense is that? You know, I may have too many slashes because look, I'm putting in a / on login on the response fetch. So I've got double login here. That's not right. So I either need to take it out of my root, which I should probably take it out of my root, right? Probably makes more sense to take it out of here. Oh, it's not gonna. All right, so let's clear this again. Is this saved? Guess it's saved, yeah. See if I have to restart. See, it's doing the right thing. Apparently I keep calling this. It's calling it just like even when I'm not doing anything, just typing. That may be a problem. I don't know if I want to keep calling it no matter what. That's probably not good. It's doing something. Res is not defined. Res is not defined, it says. What's res? Res is usually a response thing, right? So, where am I referencing res? At login user. To response. Res is not in here because I've got fetch. So it's getting past all the other junk. Method header, JSON. Response dot okay. But where is res? Res is not defined at login user. Oh, here's res. What the heck? Why do I have res? Okay, I have res. Oh, this is me setting the cookie. Oh, because the cookie is a new thing. This is this is the new thing I was doing. I think that I broke everything earlier, or sort of broke everything. I mean, I did two things. Okay, so this is the problem too. When you're doing code, I got to get in the habit of not doing certain things. If you're going to change something that might change the functionality of how things work, probably shouldn't change two things, because then you spend a lot of time fixing the one thing and you either forget or don't realize that the other thing has a problem too. So it's like you want to know what caused the problem, so you should kind of test. I mean, really, when developing, I I got to get back into the habit. See, here's part of the problem. I'll tell you, this is part of the problem. The company I worked at before, everything was, for the last, oh yeah, at least the last year, year and a half, everything we did was a lot of one-line fixes. So it was always test one thing, test one thing, test one thing. So when you go to fix a major thing, you go to fix multiple lines or a page or put something in that's totally new, you often just did the thing and test, but you don't realize how many things in there are broken. What I want to do, in fact, I should probably start doing, is start building in TDD. I want to do TDD. I don't know what the best tool for TDD or unit testing is, automated testing in React is. I'd like to start figuring out how to get some unit testing in here as well. That's all part of the optimize my skill set, right? You know, implementing code that also tests itself, preferably while you're running. You know, saying, hey, by the way, you broke this. So you put this line in here, and all of a sudden it says, hey, this doesn't work anymore. And you go, oh yeah, it's blowing up on this spot. So I'm curious what the best tool, or you know. Oh, yeah, this is actually a really good movie. I saw this. This was really good. It's got a twist. Twist. It's Twisty McTwist a lot. That was good though. You're like going, what the heck? Oh my gosh, these people are nuts. Oh wow, ah. Yeah, lots of twists. Ew, man, I hate watching that stuff. I don't know, my wife sends me that stuff all the time. People crashing and doing stuff to themselves. Good thing they're wearing helmets. Okay, let's get back to it. So we're gonna go, let's see, TDD in Next.js. Learn TDD, I should, that's gonna distract me. I should do this. You know, a lot of people, what do they call it? Use, because you can't connect to the database all the time, right? So you have to do mocking, and mocking is, I gotta say, mocking is the thing that throws me off with TDD. I gotta learn to mock better. I gotta be a better mocker. Okay, so I'm trying to chew these nuts, these peanuts, thoroughly, because once I get my throat, I'll be coughing for 5 minutes. At least I'm drinking and trying to clear it out. Okay, so some of the TDD, I like TDD that actually uses the database. So I like TDD that's functional, not mockable, mocking. Both good and bad, right? So you got to build the data to functionally mock. So what I actually did is with MS Test, with my it was a SQL app, so I was testing SQL. So you kind of have to work with the database, right? There's not like, you can't have your SQL calling your code. you can have code call code, and the code can fake data. But if you have SQL code, SQL code's got to call data because it's SQL Server. I mean, you could probably create a semblance of mocking, I guess. You could build up a table in memory and then have it test against that. But then your code is not calling the files that it's supposed to call, right? It's not calling the database, which is what your code is written to. It's written to call the database. If it's calling your temp data, so then what you have to do is write your code to basically always create a table out of the data that you're calling, and then have all your SQL call your tables. So you're going to load up all your, which would be a memory mess, right? Because you're going to load up all this data. And then when you're doing your unit testing, you could have that data. I don't even know how that would work. How would you make SQL function exactly the same? Because that's the whole thing with a mock. You can have it. Here it goes. You can do a test, and the test calls the code, but when the code goes to run, you might have some logic in there that says, okay, if we're not connected, use mock data or something, where you don't have a connection to the database, or you have a switch that tells you, okay, we're testing the code over here, but we're going to provide data from a different source, which is just going to be our loaded up data that's right here in the system, and it's going to feed this. So your unit test might even run let's connect to the data, and it's right there in the unit test app. It creates code, so it's not even in your app, but it's going to go get the data from somewhere else, and then it's going to run the code using that data. And you're going to pass that object or whatever using your fake data. I don't know. I mean, however unit testing works. I'm not an expert in TDD. I've seen it, used it. I've used it a lot, but usually other people set it up. Not true. My SQL one I used, but that was me. I created data. I actually had a pre-test, initialization to my unit tests that would go in, knowing what data I needed. It created data in the tables, and then my tests would test against that data, and every one of those was a scenario. Every set of data was a scenario that would create certain situations. If I ever wanted another test, I would say, okay, test for this setup, and test for that setup, and test for this setup. So I put in the data in the database. I wasn't creating mocks. I just created dummy data, and then I had and I always had them set with a an ID or something that was unique. Like maybe I set them up with a negative ID, or I set them up with a fixed ID, or something where it was always within a range that I would never hit, because the system did not use those IDs. It would only go forward, and I was always putting ones in that were negative or in the past. So I have fixed IDs. And then so whenever I go, or like maybe I'd have a user. When I create the records, the record would prompt with set user. If it's invalid, any record by that user would be a test record. So it might be a user test or a user something, and then it would put it into the record, and the record would say user test, created by user test. And then at the end, when I do the terminate, the deinitialize, or whatever you want to call it, cleanup, I would go through and say delete everything from user test, and user test would just dump. And even if it was a stacked set, I liked to use certain types of triggers that would clean up a record. You dump a record, and every record related to it goes with, because it doesn't make any sense to orphan all those records. So it was easy. I just delete the records here, and everything that got created as part of those records goes with it. So I could create subscribers or detail records or whatever, and everything that was connected to those user tests would go away at the initialization. And so I'd always call initializations that would basically, when the unit test run, plop, my data would be built, and then all my unit tests run, and then I deinitialize, and all those records would go away, and done. It did its test. But again, it's connecting straight to the database, and it was SQL. SQL running against SQL. So there weren't calls across the network. I wasn't doing anything that was like, it was happening on the server, which is what you do, right? It was a C# app, but the C# app would just make the calls, insert the data, run the tests, which would then call SQL. SQL runs against those database, those tests, send back values. Was it the best way? SQL Server testing is hard, TDD testing, because that's why they mock. They mock and they create fake data, but that's not testing your database, right? It's testing your mock data. And you're faking what you're putting in. Anyway, I do want to do this. I'm actually going to take this thing and put it up here in my resources. Wow, my resources are getting long, man. Oops. These are things I'm going to keep for now, till later. A lot of this stuff up here I could just delete. If I'm still keeping, I could create multiple groups, like, in fact I should. So this is like my resources, things that like my super base. I could call the Jack Black. What the heck? How's that even in here? Like my various things that I consume and connect to. My what do you call it? My GitHub. That's not my GitHub. These are all okay. This is not all right. What happened to all my stuff? Where's my GitHub? This is Git, but this ain't mine. This is the crash course that I was referencing. Some of my stuff went away. Oh, okay. So I have some of it up here, my doc, and things that I need to reference while I'm running this stuff. And then my Azure. Some of it I put right here just because I needed to reference it. All right. But yeah, some things got messed up apparently. Back to it. ChatGPT, save me there. I got my res. I don't need it to be res. I just need it to be resource. I could just type resource or response. Sorry. I don't know how. Oops. How important is it to be? I mean, why would you shorten this? What's the advantage to shortening this to res? I mean, I have seen constants being created that reference the response, but I don't know why. I mean, why do you need to shorten the response? Just because people would rather type res? Seems weird. I mean, it's not a huge difference, right? I do like things short. I am one for abbreviating things. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I am the first person. I've had debates with coworkers on simplifying. I mean, like I've met coworkers that will. I've worked with people that will. It's a sentence. A variable is a sentence. This, definition of blah 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 for blah blah blah. So you know exactly what it is, but it is a lot of blah 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 blah. And yeah, they try to keep the extra things out, the is's, the does, and keep abbreviated. But it's literally a sentence. The name is very clear what it does. Too clear. They don't even shorten the words. I mean, like a person knows what a count is, ACCT. Response is RES, or if you're typing, holds underscore user underscore token underscore for underscore reference ref USR for user. I mean, if you're gonna write all that stuff, you can shorten it. People are smart enough to understand most of the time. But whatever. Everybody to each. This is why you always see. I mean, if there is a standard within a company, you kind of have to go with it, right? But if it's just different people doing different things. All right, so serialize is not defined. What the heck, noodles? All right, what the heck? So serialize is not part of the set header response. So as you can see, I've gotten way past the login. I've gotten the login. Now it's just storing the stupid thing in a cookie. You know, oh, that's the environment. I don't know why we're doing this. Do I have node env even defined? Is it going to complain once I get in here? Because I don't have this defined. I haven't. What is node env? Is node env like a built-in value? Let's see. Process.env.nodeEnv. Because it isn't setting it, right? It's just reading it. Why is process.env.nodeEnv undefined? It's a reference to your environment, so you have to set the variables there to set an environment. So why is it looking? What is nodeEnv in node? NodeEnv is an environment variable used to define the current environment in which the node.js application is running. So it's not automatically. I have to set this. How to check and set the NodeEnv environment. Okay, so they have it there. This is net. Echo, this is will display. This is Node.js, by the way, not Next.js, but run this script. Node checkenv. Create a new JavaScript file and add the following code. Console. Run the script. This will output the current value of NodeEnv to the console. It is not set. The output will be undefined. Temporary setting. Export NodeEnv equals developer. So this is making an assumption here that NodeEnv is set. All right. So this is going to fail. This is going to say undefined. I don't have NodeEnv defined anywhere. Next.js dot or Next.js set NodeEnv you may want to add a variable append, set it to development and production based on file access process env append. How to set NodeEnv at build time. Let's do this. I have an epi upload point. Oh, my ears are so plugged up. Well, next start, next build, and NodeEnv to production by default. But if there's a custom, next start and next build will set NodeEnv to production. By default, but if there's a custom NodeEnv, it won't be replaced. Is there any way around that you know of trying to adopt Next with the existing? And NodeEnv is already claimed at the infrastructure level. I saw a thread where this could potentially be disabled. Oh, maybe it will work. Because it says next start and next build will set NodeEnv to production by default, but if there's custom NodeEnv, it won't be replaced. So it is, all right, let's see what happens. First of all, I got to figure out why serialize is undefined. Let's go here. No, We'll just ask ChatGPT again. Getting serialize is undefined error in this code. Oh. Oh, I don't remember doing that. But is that up here? Oh, I haven't tried importing either. Import serialized from cookie. Oh, do I need to do that? Let's try that first to see if it's even there. All right, man. Did you solve my problem? Can't resolve cookie. All right, well, all right, so now I have to go do something else. Let's hit Control C. Yes. And then we're going to go do what ChatGPT said to do the first time. And that's to npm install cookie. I don't remember ever doing that. So if that's my problem, npm install cookie. I'm going to go up here. So if it's the lack of cookie package, then that should be good, right? All right, let's try this again. I don't like that it's, I gotta check to see why I'm calling this constantly. See, every time I type something, it's going in. I shouldn't be doing that. Response.header is not a function. We are making progress because we're moving further and further down the code. Is not a function at login user. What do you mean it's not a function? It used to be serialized was the problem. Now it's like saying that the whole set header doesn't work anymore. Response dot set. It's right there. What are you talking about? How is that not? How is that not a valid thing? Set header. Okay. What about this one, ChatGPT? What do you got for this? The Next.js API route res should be standard Node.js issue response object, which has the set header method. Wait a minute. It said res was undefined though. Okay, res is a thing? Res is a thing by itself? No, res is not a thing. Ensure your API route file exports a function that takes rec and res as parameters. Right, I got the serialize. Example, ingest with supertest or similar libraries. Ensure that your mocks correctly simulate the behavior of res.setHeader. Correct API route usage. Export default async function. Should this be a function? Token. Huh. La 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 la. Alright, let's go back here. API signing. Calling custom hook. Handling undefined hook. Missing use state import. Next.js auth consume API. Symmetric, asymmetric. From configuration.net API. Alright, let's try something else. Let's say, how do I store a bearer token received from a .NET API .NET Auth API in a Next.js application cookie. Let's see. Create an API route that handles the authentication process and sets the token in a cookie. Done. I did that already. Error token is required. Set cookie with the token. See, now they're doing the same thing. Constant cookie equals serialize. Send the bearer token to the API route. After receiving the token from the .NET API, send it to the Next.js API route to set the cookie. Fetch, blah, 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 blah. If response OK in data text. Oh wait, fetch API on. Send token to the Next.js API route to set the cookie. Oh, so they're saying create this guy as a separate component. Create an API route. Okay. We'll say, okay, we're going to go auth. Copy. This is actually an API. Why am I not putting this? Alright, API. This is actually doing everything that the API is. Huh. Alright, let's stop this. Control C. Oops, Y. And then we're gonna go, I'm gonna remove this again. I'm being silly, but I'm putting this up here in the API. Because it is API call. That's what it is. It's what its purpose in life is. API is a default folder. We're going to go new folder. Or new file. And we're going to call it auth.js. And then I'm going to copy the code for this. I'm going to put it in here. And then when we log in the user, we do all of our stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then we're going to go to my authorize here, which is going to do the calling. This is getting it. Response.ok. And data.token, just because it would be good to have. We're going to go in here. I have this set up as an async, yeah, okay. Then we're going to go in here and we're going to say, oh wait, nope, 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 wrong. Okay, data equals. Let's do this a little earlier. Right here. We're going to do that. is the hotkey for this? I forgot what my prettier hotkey is. I feel like we're off, but oh, let's go with constant. All right, so we're gonna set the data, and then we're gonna go here data.token, and then we're gonna say if everything works there correctly, we're gonna go here and do this as well. This is where we're gonna set the header, which is, we'll just call this instead of that. Control C, and we'll just replace this. Okay. Now if I could remember what my prettier key was. Alt-Shift-G? Nope. Alt-Shift-F? Nope. I don't even know what that did. What did that do? Control-Shift-G? Control-Shift-F? I want to say... Ah, dang it. Hotkey for prettier envious code. Alt-Shift-F. That's what I typed. Alt-Shift-F. Did it? Oh, did it do something? Oh, it did. It lined up everything. It did everything I expected it to. All right, let's go back. Let's see if this did anything to fix my life. Let's clear this component. And then we'll get it run. Well, you know what? This might not actually work because I disconnected. I'm not actually running right now. Yeah. Which means I gotta close this guy. Wait, maybe I didn't start it yet. Control start. There it goes. So this brings us back to the home page. And once I cookieize it, really all I'm doing is put in the cookie. I'm still not to that point where I'm actually verifying the cookie or validating it or refreshing it or whatever I need to do. So I've still got a little work there to go. But let's at least get everything in place, right? It says logging in. Did it work? Well, if it did work, it didn't reroute me like it was supposed to. Failed to load resource. The server responded with the status of not found. Boo. But now we're in the API auth file. So now we're in here. What was not found? Oh, You know what? I don't think I'm referencing this guy like I'm supposed to. Oh, nope, it's fetch. Await fetch. It's API auth, but Auth 3000 API auth. What is there? API auth.js. Well, it says not found. So what is the problem? That just opened the page. It's not really what I was aiming for. I was checking to see if it was cool and you could drag the name over here and it would go, oh, let's reference that. Didn't work. So it doesn't like something here. What if I just go, since we're in here already? I mean, it should work, right? Because it goes back to the root. I mean, it's saying localhost API auth. Oh, wait. It's obviously a bad pointer, so I don't know. What is it going to be? Should I get rid of this? What if I just say auth since I'm in the same folder path? Do I have my other one here? What did I do wrong? So I have a valid API route. Check API route syntax. Oh, this is the fix of the error. Alright, so this is... Alright, receive the bearer token, setting the cookie. We do this, and then it's failing to call it correctly. Login user async credentials, response, await fetch, my fetch process. I get it. I go in here. If response is okay, data dot token. We go in here. Since the token is stored in HTTP only cookie, it will be sent automatically with each request to the server. On the server side, you can access the cookie in API routes or middleware. Okay. Invalid token, logging out. Since the token is stored in HTTP, so that's the next step. The first step is getting it to actually do this. So why is it not working? So we're in here, but we're not. It's saying it's failing. Not found. Try something. Edge. API. Nope. That doesn't work. I just think maybe it was smart, but it's not smart. Oh, come on. So what is going on here? It says not found. API auth not found. API auth right there. It's not found though. What if I just said auth? I mean, it might not work, but at least I'll have tried it. Different problem. Internal server. Don't know what that means. Handle login. Await in login user. Handle login. Huh. Huh. I don't know what's going on. It just keeps saying not found. This is going to be a mislead. All right. Getting not found error with API with this code and my file does exist there. Oops. Dang it. Should API route, API auth is correctly defined in your Next.js. The file should be located in pages directory and named auth.js or auth.ts if using TypeScript. The correct structure should be pages API. Why would it be pages? I don't use pages. I don't even have a pages folder. Why do I have to have pages? Why is it in pages? Pages, I'm not using a pages file. You need to create a route handler inside the app directory. For example, if you want API route at API auth, you should structure it as follows. App API auth. Inside route.js, you would define the handler like so. I still feel like something's off. Route.js. So I have to create a route.js. This stuff feels wrong. I don't remember a route.js being part of navigation. Is there a route.js in this app? But oh, there is a route.js. Check that out. Huh. Okay. There is a route.js. What do you know? So we go to auth, and then auth has a route.js. Inside router, you would define the handler like so. So instead of being auth.js, it would be called route.js. They're creating API auth, so I have to actually go in here, rename this to route, and then we're going to go here and go new folder, and we will call it auth. And then we're going to move this guy into auth. So that's where it's defined. We define the handler, and this is the handler. All right, let's see what that does. Copy this guy, go over here, and paste. Clear out my calls here, hit submit. Ah! What does it mean, error aborted, not allowed? Method not allowed. What? Oh. It did something different. That much is for sure. Okay. But it will now hit the route you've defined in the app directory. Creating an API route. You need to create a route handler inside the app directory. For example, you want API route to add API auth. You could structure it as follows. App API auth route.js. That's where it is. App. So I have app API auth route.js. Done. Inside route.js, you would define the handler, which I did. Though it's different. It's a different handler. Make the route.js, make sure the route.js file is within the API auth. It is API auth directory. And it is route.js. Okay. Your fetch requests remain the same. So everything's the same. Copy. Let's go to a new page and see if Yeah, I was curious about this. So it's just a style thing. I thought he had like, I don't know, hiding his face for some reason. Okay. I mean, what would I expect this to display? Right? Because there's really nothing for it to display. It's just a page doing my script handling. So I don't know. It said test it, but I'm not exactly sure how I would test that. Yeah, it's not gonna do anything. Okay. Yeah, page can work and blah 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 blah. Whatever. All right, let's see. Where am I? What's the solution here? What am I doing wrong? So now it's saying method not. You know what? I'm going to stop it. Maybe I just did too much while it was running. Let's go Control C. Say Y. Then we're going to go next. npm run dev. I mean, right? Worst case scenario. Of course, did I already do that? I may have already done that. I'm just a little stumped, folks. It's just not. I'm doing everything ChatGPT tells me to do. It's just like, oh, let's put all my faith in a computer to tell me the right way to do it. It's been pretty good, so I'm obviously missing something, misunderstanding. But what it is telling me right now, and each thing I do appears to get to another step. So things are progressing. But the problem is that, of course, I'm not fully functional. Things aren't fully there yet. So what's going on? Are we not fully running? Local storage is not defined. Oh, do I still have a local storage check? Oh. Ooh. Do I have local storage check going on? What the heck? I thought I got rid of that, but yeah, that's true. I was doing a local storage check for my homepage, just so I could show that I'm logged in. But now I got to change that. It's a nav bar. Okay, so yeah, there's not going to be a local token here. If exists, I need to say cookie token. Check for bearer token in cookie in next.js. All right, let's did I read that? Cookie cannot be decoded, fetch token, and refresh next.js. Get tokens from cookie and validate. Install and insert sign in or log in using next.js app router. Export async function, post request. To simply create a post endpoint under the API sign-in. This endpoint is responsible. How to use middleware to verify login in next.js. How to implement authentication? Example. This function can be marked async if using await inside function middleware request. Return next response dot redirect. Matching paths. How to learn more. Matcher. How can I match? Alright, I gotta go back to ChatGPT because this is not giving me the example I want. Because this is actually doing the login and doing other stuff. I don't want to do that. It's not my answer I'm looking for. I'm kind of rerouting a little bit because I got to change how I'm doing this. I'm not using local storage anymore. I'm trying to use a cookie, which means I've got to undefine that. How to check if user is logged in or logged on in my next.js application where I am holding a bearer token, a cookie. Logged in next to using a bearer token. Start a cookie. Set up middleware for authentication. Next.js middleware to check if bearer token exists and the cookie is invalidated. Alright, so we're going to go copy code here, and then I'm going to go over to my middleware, which I may already have some of this stuff in. So this is middleware, rec, token, get, next response dot redirect, auth, which is fine. Optionally validate the token here, next response dot next. Middleware rec, constant token equals request dot cookies get token. Replace token with your cookie name. Oh, okay. So what is my cookie name? It's like, it probably should be something usable, right? This is the error I got. Method not allowed. Interesting. What is the cookie name? I'm setting the cookie. Set strict weak production. Is it called auth token? What does serialize do? It is a name. Name. The name for the cookie. So it should be auth token. Is that a good name? I'm not sure I want to have the name of what it is. You know, I should call it like I don't know. I don't know, like ladder key or I just don't know if I want my cookies to have defined names or not obvious names. You know what I'm saying? I think it seems like they should be like just smarter names or more. I mean, I don't mind an obvious name like ladder. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna call it. But you ultimate community ladder. UCL. How about AT? Auth token? UCLA? It is UCLA. Ultimate Community Ladder. How about taking the A off? UCL Auth token. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to put my Auth token right here. UCL AUTK. Set cookie with the token. And then I'm going to do something like auth token. Okay, so now I got my cookie names match. Okay, so what else does it say? All right, the middleware checks response cookie and either allow the request to proceed or redirect to the login page. I could let the request proceed. I just want to know if we're going to go ahead. I don't want to necessarily redirect. Sometimes I want to redirect, sometimes I don't. But sometimes I just want to know what it is, if I'm logged in or not. When checking if the user is logged in, you should validate the bearer token. You can do this in API routes, route handlers, or server-side components. When checking if the user is logged in, you should validate the bearer token. Okay, let's see what it says. Let's see, async function get request, constant token equals token. Redirect to auth. Which is right here. And then if no token, redirect auth. Do I want to redirect? See, that's the thing. I want to know if we're logged in. I just don't know that I want to redirect. Is there a way to like send it a flag saying, yeah, I'm just checking. I just want to see if we are logged in. I don't want to necessarily redirect. Sometimes I want to redirect. Sometimes I don't. I just want to know if we're logged in. Return next response.json authenticated false. Constant decoded. See, this is what throws me off, is I don't understand this decoding thing. Because I don't know where I'm supposed to be getting this decoded thing. Token, your secret key. Well, I don't have a secret key. But I do want this. Because I think I'd rather redirect as needed instead of redirecting. See, I usually will just look, I would just look at the cookie. But I don't necessarily want to redirect them automatically. I mean, I could do something like just get it and look at the token. I mean, there's no reason why for this page I can't just get the token, because this is really all I wanted. So I could say that this is valid, and since this is not actually validating, I could just take this. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Let's do this. And then I'm going to go over to my navbar JSX. And instead of doing this, I'll just do this. And let's close this for now. I don't need you right now. Too many things going on. Okay, so we're going to have token. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go back to the navbar. And instead of saying that, we're just going to replace this. And that should work, assuming request.cookies is valid. Because I don't know if request.cookies is valid. It might not be. Can I go? Yeah, it seems to be okay. All right, so yeah, let's just hit the. So now that doesn't fix my previous problem. Assuming everything works right now, problem is probably not fixed. It's just that I'm not going to have that issue. Fixed this issue of trying to reference the storage account. Rec. Rec is not defined. Why? What do you mean I'm out of dated? I'm not using that. What for? Wait. Oh, I am. What the heck? I thought I was using the latest version of Next. Dang it. All right. Shouldn't that update it? That didn't do anything. All right. If you are testing out Canary release. You're using a stable. All right, let's try that. npm I next at latest. I always want to be working with the latest. It doesn't make any sense if you're working with old stuff. No, hopefully this ain't gonna break my code, but it might if it jumps far enough. But I'd rather fix the problem than have my code be updated. Really? That's the big update? It's 14.2.5 instead of 14.2.4. Wow. That's like, really? That was the big, oh no, you can't do this anymore. That's lame. All right, well, whatever. It's fixed. All right, so the problem still says rec is not defined. Why is rec not defined in my page? Getting rec is not defined in my Next.js component. Wait, I thought Next.js was always server side unless you said otherwise. Use get server-side props or get static props to fetch the request data and pass it as props to your component. If fetching data on the client side, you won't have access to rec. Instead, you can include relevant information, e.g. cookies or headers, in your fetch request. Okay, so this should be server-side because that's what Next.js is doing. So if I want to access this and call it without tripping myself, I need to do this bit up here. And just get the data back. Headers, return props headers. So I can get the props headers back, but if I want the cookie, like, if you need information from requests, like headers, cookies, headers, you're in your component. Here are a few ways to approach it. If you're on a page component, you can use get server-side props to fetch the request data and pass it as props to your component. So Yeah, okay, so I have my export default. This is my component, which is my nav bar. Oh, I'm using client side with this? Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm using client side. That's a problem. Let's see. If you're fetching data on the client side, you won't have access to rec. Instead, you can include relevant information, e.g. cookies or headers, in your fetch request. Fetch method get headers authorization bearer. Huh. Then response. Okay, so when I come to this page, all right, let's try something else. Check if user is logged in when they arrive at my home page. In XJS application that uses a bearer token received from Auth API. This is like long-winded, but it seems pretty good at figuring it out. It's basically what it just said. Use get server-side props. But that means I can't use my use client, which I think will trip stuff up. I'm not sure if navbar, I have a feeling something's not going to work. Okay, I'm going to take a break, do some lunch, and then I will be back.